In this short video, I want to discuss whether or not you can pay your Google Ads costs via monthly invoicing. So as you're probably aware, the default option for paying Google Ads is that you set up your account and you put in a debit or credit card and you pay your ad bill on a monthly basis on your billing date or when you hit your billing threshold, whichever comes first. Sometimes if you do both, you effectively wind up paying more than one time in a month. Very common question I get asked by business owners is, can I shift to monthly invoice payments? I don't want to have to pay Google off my credit card. I want to pay for my advertising via an invoice, like I pay for my Google Ads management services, or like I pay for my accountant's fees, or like I pay my wholesale suppliers, or whatever the case may be. Now, long story short, there is the ability to use monthly invoicing within Google Ads. I'll leave the link to this page in the video description. But what you have to understand, and Google makes it very clear, is that monthly invoicing is generally only for larger advertisers and businesses. They give the example here of ad agencies that manage client Google Ads accounts, but also I've seen it used, by bigger businesses advertising sort of internally or doing their own advertising. So, some years ago, for example, I worked for a very large retail company in New Zealand. I worked for a particular division of that business, which was its own legally separate company within the group. And, we spent big money on Google Ads every month, well into the five figures on Google Ads. And so we paid via invoice because most credit cards just don't have a limit that high to pay, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of Google Ads advertising a month. So if you're a larger business spending bigger amounts of money, or you're advertising on behalf of other businesses, you might be able to use monthly invoicing. Realistically, for most do-it-yourself advertisers, smaller businesses, anyone spending $500 or $1,000 a month, or whatever the case may be, you're probably not going to do monthly invoicing. Google does tell you the eligibility requirements here. So you can see here there are really three key eligibility requirements. One is you have to be a registered business for a minimum of a year. Two is you have to have an active Google Ads account in good standing for a minimum of 1 year. So basically you have to have had your legal business entity running for at least a year. You have to have been using your Google Ads account for at least a year and paying your credit card or debit card bills on time, so not having a situation where Google goes to bill you and there's not enough money in the account. And then you also need to be spending roughly a minimum of $5,000 a month for any of three of the last 12 months. So if you're spending $500 a month, $1,000 a month on average on Google Ads, you're not spending enough. They're not going to let you go to monthly invoicing. If you're spending, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, for example, on average, and especially if you've had some bigger months, we spend more, maybe around the Christmas retail period, and you meet these other eligibility requirements. And basically, you can apply. It's not like a black or white, you are going to get approved kind of scenario. You have to go and follow the contact us link here and basically apply and pretty much put your case forward as to why you should get access to monthly invoicing. And Google is wary of providing monthly invoicing facilities for a pretty good reason, because if you have got any familiarity with how business works, what happens, people rack up bills with suppliers like Google Ads or like a wholesaler, and then if business gets tight, they might get slow on paying that invoice. Business could go into liquidation or sort of bankruptcy without paying. And oftentimes things like marketing costs are the last thing to be paid. So if a business suddenly finds itself tight cash flow wise and it's got $20,000 of outstanding Google ad spend or $20,000 of rent to pay to keep the shop open, and you can only pick one, guess what's going to get picked? Paying the rent or paying the tax man or paying the staff. So you've actually got people to run the business for you. And so Google doesn't hand out monthly invoicing capability like candy. Obviously, if you are meeting the eligibility criteria and you want to use invoicing, you should look to do so and apply if it's going to make your life easier. A lot of advertisers actually prefer staying on the credit card payment system or debit card payment system if they've got something like a credit card that gives them cash back or airline rewards points or something like that. And funnily enough, Google sometimes, for very large advertisers who are putting huge amounts of money through credit cards, I'm talking like tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and skimming off a whole lot of Amex points or whatever, sometimes they'll actually force them to go onto invoice payment just to basically stop Google having to encounter unnecessary credit card fees. So basically, if you meet the criteria, which, as I said, for most small businesses is not the case, you do the application process. Google will go and review your credit history. They give you your payment terms, and they give you your maximum credit line as well. Basically, if you move to invoicing and you don't pay on time as per the terms, you're going to have a bad time because Google's going to crack down on your advertising, just like they do if you don't pay your credit card bill. But yeah, I can totally understand their perspective on this. I'm pretty critical of Google for a lot of things, but as a business owner myself who's had issues being paid in the past, yeah, giving people the ability to pay via an invoice automatically gives them an easier way of paying you late or not paying you at all, because you provide your good or your service, in this case Google Ads advertising, and then you send out the invoice, and yeah, they're meant to pay it on the 5th of the month or the 20th of the month or 30 days later or whatever the invoice terms are. But there's basically nothing them stopping paying you later or making you chase them for the payment. All you can do is kind of prevent future service. It's much harder for you to do that with your credit card billing because it bills automatically. And then if your billing fails, Google shuts those ads off. So yeah, if you want to go for monthly invoicing, main things, check the link in the video description, see how you stack up compared to these eligibility criteria. If you stack up, feel free to go and apply. You're not guaranteed to get the monthly invoice billing, but if you meet the eligibility criteria, there's no good reason why you shouldn't. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.